Are you feeling stuck, like no matter how hard you try, something just isn't flowing? Maybe it's not about trying harder. Maybe it's about aligning smarter. On Monday, May 26, 2025, 6 numbers hold more than mathematical value. They carry deep spiritual resonance rooted in Buddhist wisdom. These aren't lucky numbers in the traditional sense. They are energetic keys, each representing clarity, courage, balance, and the mindset that attracts abundance. Because here's the truth. The biggest shifts in your life don't start with external changes. They begin inside, where focus, intention, and action align. If you're ready to stop waiting for a breakthrough and start becoming the breakthrough, this video will show you how. These 6 numbers aren't magic, but they'll help you tune into the real magic, your own awareness. Before we dive in like this video, subscribe and turn on the bell for more weekly insights. And here's your first alignment step. Comment below. I welcome growth and harmony into my life. This simple act sets a powerful tone, internally and universally. Let's begin. Part 1. Number 22. The Master Builder Within. In numerology and spiritual teachings, the number 22 is known as the Master Builder, a powerful force that represents turning dreams into reality. But this isn't about chasing perfection. It's about building something meaningful with patience, presence, and purpose. Let me tell you a story about Ethan, a man who unknowingly lived this number before he even understood its significance. Ethan was a gifted carpenter. For over a decade, he built beautiful homes for others, every joint measured with care, every finish flawless. But while his projects thrived, he didn't. Late nights, skipped meals, ignored back pain, until one day his body simply gave out. He collapsed on sight from sheer exhaustion. At first, he thought he needed more rest, but after weeks of recovery and reflection, he realized, I've spent years building houses, but never once built a home within myself. That's when he came across the meaning of 22. It's a number that blends vision with structure, spirit with practicality. It calls us not just to dream, but to build what matters, and more importantly, to build it in a way that doesn't destroy us in the process. For Ethan, that realization changed everything. He restructured his entire life. He took on fewer contracts, but chose clients whose values aligned with his. He scheduled time every morning just to sit quietly on his porch, and for the first time in his adult life, he began writing poetry, something that had always been in him but never had space. His mantra became simple: 2 solid actions each day, 1 for growth, 1 for joy. And that's exactly what this number invites you to do. Daily practice for number 22. Choose 2. Conscious actions daily 1. 1 for yourself, read, rest, create, stretch, reflect. 2. 1 for someone else, a kind message, a helping hand, a moment of presence. Write them down in the morning, review them at night. These small bricks laid consistently are what form a foundation you can actually live on. Keep the number 22 visible on a sticky note, your phone lock, screen, or written on your mirror. Let it remind you real wealth isn't speed, it's structure. It's not how fast you reach the dream, but how solid the life is that holds it. So here's the deeper question. What are you building that will outlive you? Is it a business, a family, a piece of art, a way of living that your children will remember? Or maybe it's a relationship with yourself, finally treating your energy, your peace, your body, with the same respect you give your work. Number 22 whispers this truth: you are not here to hustle harder. You are here to build wisely. Let it guide you away from burnout, away from empty striving, and toward intentional growth. Because when you balance inner alignment with daily action, the life you want doesn't feel far away. It becomes the one you're standing on. Next time you feel overwhelmed, stop and ask, what's one thing I can build today for me? And what's one thing I can build for someone else? And remember, master builders don't just create, they anchor. So anchor your actions, anchor your energy, and watch your foundation rise one conscious step at a time. Part 2, number 19, release to rise. Let me ask you something up front. What chapter in your life have you outgrown but still can't seem to close? Sometimes the things that used to define us, our jobs, relationships, or even beliefs, become the very things that hold us back. And until we have the courage to release them, we stay stuck in a story that no longer fits. That's exactly what the number 19 represents. In numerology, it combines the energy of 1, which signifies beginnings, with 9, the number of completion. Together, 1 and 9 form a powerful cycle and ending that leads directly into a new beginning. Not tomorrow, not next year, but now. This number showed up for Clara, a 58-year-old woman who had spent most of her life running her family's bakery. It was her father's legacy, a business built with sweat and sacrifice. But over the years, it became a burden more than a blessing. The joy had long since vanished. She was tired, bitter, and creatively starved. Still, she stayed, out of duty, out of guilt. Until one quiet morning, Clara sat at the kitchen counter and wrote a letter. Not to anyone, but to the life she was leaving behind. She poured every emotion onto the page: resentment, gratitude, sadness, relief. Then she stepped outside and burned it. And in that flame, something inside her finally let go. 2 months later, Clara started selling hand-painted ceramics at a local market. Today, she wakes up excited. She's not making as much money as before, but she says, "For the first time in years, I feel alive." The number 19 was her turning point. You don't need to burn a whole life down to find clarity. Sometimes all it takes is a symbolic release. Here's your practice. 1. Write down what's weighing on you: an old fear, a relationship, a limiting belief. 2. Fold the paper with care. Thank it for what it taught you. 3. Safely burn it or tear it into pieces. Let the act mirror your commitment to let go. Don't rush the feeling. Let it rise. Let it sting. Then let it leave. Before bed, close your eyes and softly repeat, 19. I release to rise. Visualize one door closing behind you and a new golden one swinging open in front. Let's be honest, closure isn't always convenient. It's scary to walk away from what's familiar, even if it's no longer fulfilling. But what if that fear is the very sign that it's time? What if letting go of what's good is the only way to make room for what's great? Number 19 is not about chaos. It's about conscious transition. It invites you to trust the cycle of life, that nothing truly ends. It only transforms. So ask yourself, what belief role or routine have I outgrown? What would my life feel like if I gave myself permission to begin again? Remember, you don't have to see the whole path. You just have to take the first step. Clara didn't know how things would unfold. She just knew she couldn't stay stuck another day. Her courage to close one door allowed another to swing wide open. And maybe today, it's your turn. If this part of the journey speaks to you, comment below. I am ready to release and rise. Let it be your declaration that you're no longer waiting for permission. You're ready to begin again with clarity, courage, and trust. Now let's continue. The next number might just unlock your next breakthrough. Part 3, number 7, the sacred pause. Take a moment and be honest. How do you begin your mornings? Is it with purpose or with a screen? Is it with peace or with pressure? The number 7 calls us back to something ancient and simple: silence. In spiritual traditions across the world, 7 is seen as the number of inner wisdom, sacred rhythm, and divine timing. It reminds us that clarity doesn't come from constant motion. It comes from stillness, and no one learned this better than Samuel. Samuel was a young entrepreneur always chasing the next milestone. Every morning, the first thing he did was check social media notifications, news trends. Before his feet even touched the floor, his mind was already overloaded. His business wasn't failing, but it felt noisy. He couldn't focus. He was always reacting instead of creating. Then one day he read a quote that changed everything. "Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of yourself." He decided to try something radical. For 1 week, he gave himself 7 minutes of morning stillness. No phone, no music, just breath, just being. The first few days felt awkward. His mind raced. But by day 4, something shifted. Thoughts became clearer. He had a breakthrough idea for his business model. He made a difficult decision with surprising calm. By the end of the week, he wasn't just more productive, he felt lighter. Like his soul had finally caught up with his body. That was 2 years ago. Samuel hasn't missed a single morning since. If you want your days to feel less chaotic and more aligned, start small. Start with 7. Here's your practice. 1. When you wake up, resist the urge to reach for your phone. 2. Sit comfortably. Close your eyes. 3. Set a timer for 7 minutes. 4. Focus on your breath, or simply repeat in your mind, "I trust the rhythm of my life." You don't have to empty your mind. You just have to listen to your body, to your breath, to what's real beneath the noise. Do this for 7 days and watch how your inner world changes. Because when your mornings begin with presence, the rest of your day becomes a reflection of peace, not panic. We live in a world that pushes us to move faster, scroll, more hustle, harder. But speed without direction leads to burnout, not brilliance. Number 7 is your invitation to slow down, not to fall behind, but to realign. So reflect. When was the last time you paused without guilt? When did you last hear your own voice beneath the noise of opinions, trends, and expectations? Sometimes the clearest wisdom comes in a whisper, not a shout. And silence, it's not empty. It's full of answers you've been too busy to hear. The Buddha took 7 steps after his birth. With each step, a lotus bloomed beneath him. That's not just a metaphor. It's a map. You don't need to leap. You just need to walk. 1 step, 1 breath, 1 morning at a time. If this number resonates with you, leave a comment below. I welcome clarity through stillness, because sometimes the most powerful move is the pause. Let's continue. There's more inner gold waiting in the numbers ahead. Part 4, number 38, Overflow through alignment. Let me tell you a story about Jada, a single mom of 2 living paycheck to paycheck, buried in stress and exhausted from trying to hold everything together. She wasn't lazy. She wasn't lost. She was just disconnected from herself, from a plan, from the deeper alignment that creates real lasting progress. Until one day, in a community workshop, she was introduced to the power of the number 38. In numerology, 3 represents mind, body, and spirit, a holistic approach to life. And 8, it's the number of infinity abundance and energetic flow. Together they form a roadmap, set clear goals. 3, then move toward them with consistent effort. 8, Jada went home that night and wrote down 3 goals. 1, get out of debt. 2, build a home-based business. 3, create more time for her kids. Then she created 8 small action steps for each. Not big leaps, just manageable steps: opening a savings account, learning Canva, waking up 30 minutes earlier, unsubscribing from one distraction. She didn't transform her life in one weekend, but she did transform her path step by step with energy aligned to intention. 6 months later, she was debt-free. 1 year later, she was running an Etsy shop. And 2 years later, she called 38 her roadmap to freedom. If you're feeling stuck, scattered, or overwhelmed, don't try to fix everything at once. Instead, get clear. Here's your practice. 1. Write down 3 meaningful goals. 1 for your finances, 1 for your growth, 1 for your relationships. 2. Then under each goal, list 8 tiny steps, things you can start today. Oh, examples: make a phone call, delete an app, drink more, water, meditate for 3 minutes, schedule an appointment, send a thank you note. It's not about size, it's about alignment. When your small steps are aligned with your deeper goals, energy starts to flow. And from flow comes overflow. Ever felt like you're doing so much but getting nowhere? That's usually a sign of energetic leaks. Too many yeses to things that drain you. Too little time connecting back to what truly matters. So ask yourself, what am I working toward right now? And does it actually align with the life I want to build? The number 38 reminds us that results come from rhythm, not rush. You don't need a miracle. You need a method that aligns your energy with your intentions, and you already have what it takes. Think of it like this. The 3 is your compass. The 8 is your engine. Together they create momentum not just for achievement, but for peaceful progress, the kind that doesn't burn you out but builds you up. And as the Buddha once said, what we think we become, what we feel we attract, what we imagine we create. If this number speaks to you today, type in the comments, I align my energy with what matters. Let it be a commitment not to work harder, but to live wiser. Because when your inner world is aligned, the outer world flows. Not perfectly, but powerfully. Let's move to the next number together. Your overflow is closer than you think. Part 5, number 66, the morning of awakening. In a noisy world that demands more, faster, and louder. Number 66 whispers, return to stillness, return to truth. It's a number that echoes sacred doubling. 2 6s mirroring each other, a powerful symbol of alignment between the inner world and the outer life. In Buddhist wisdom, the number 6 represents the 6 paramitas, perfections of the heart: generosity, morality, patience, energy, meditation, and wisdom. Now imagine carrying not just 1, but double that energy into your day. That's exactly what Uncle Lee did for over 20 years, a humble retiree in a small village. Uncle Lee was far from wealthy in the traditional sense. No fancy cars, no bank accounts, overflowing with money. But each morning before the sun rose, he would sit in silence on his porch, whisper the number 66, and visualize golden light pouring through his chest. Neighbors would often see him sitting there, eyes closed, serene. He mentored children. He tended to a small garden. He smiled often and complained never. When he passed at age 91, the entire village showed up to honor him. And someone wrote on his memorial, he lived fully. He left nothing undone. He was rich not in possessions, but in peace. His wealth was quiet, but it was deep. To awaken the essence of 66, begin your day with presence. Here's your practice. 1. Wake before sunrise if possible. Even 10 minutes early will do. 2. Sit in stillness. Close your eyes. Whisper softly at 66. Let the sound guide your breath. 3. Visualize a stream of golden light entering through the top of your head, flowing down your spine, filling your body with warmth and clarity. 4. Before you leave your bed, write 66 on a small piece of paper and slip it under your pillow. Let your sleep become sacred space. 5. Then write down 6 goals, not just career goals, but soul goals. These are the things your heart still longs to do, be, or give. Do this consistently, and something subtle but powerful will begin to shift. You'll start your days not reacting, but anchoring. Reflection. What 6 goals still whisper to your soul? Not the loud goals, not the ones others expect of you, but the quiet ones. That book you want to write, the forgiveness you've delayed, the place you've dreamed of visiting, the skill you've longed to learn, the person you want to become, the peace you crave, but keep postponing. Write them, speak them, honor them. Because when you move with intention, the universe moves with you. If this number resonates with your morning spirit, comment below. I rise with clarity and purpose. Let 66 be more than a number. Let it be your morning compass, your awakening call. And when the sun rises tomorrow, meet it with light in your chest and trust in your steps. Part 6, number 43. Build, then leap. There's a number that holds a quiet but powerful kind of magic. A combination of structure and inspiration, of grounded work and spontaneous courage. That number is 43. In spiritual numerology, the number 4 represents stability, patience, and foundation, the kind of energy you need to build something real. And 3 is the number of joy, creativity, and expression, the energy of flowing freely and living out loud. Put them together, and you get 43, a golden bridge between discipline and dreams. That's exactly how Naomi, a 17-year-old student, interpreted this number. She wasn't from a wealthy background. No one in her family had ever written a book or started a business. But Naomi had a quiet fire inside her, a love for storytelling, and a deep desire to share her voice with the world. Instead of waiting for the right time or enough talent, Naomi started practicing what she called her 43 steps. Every day she did one thing to build structure and one thing to express creativity. She'd journal for 15 minutes, then brainstorm plot ideas. She'd study sentence structure, then write freely for fun. No pressure, just practice, just showing up consistently, building the bridge step by step. At 17, she self-published her first novel, and she credits that number 43 not as magic, but as a method, a rhythm, a daily reminder that you can dream, but you also have to do. And you can do, but it helps to dream while you build. If you're standing at the edge of a change, feeling something calling you forward, but unsure how to get there, this number is for you. Here's your practice. 1. Close your eyes and imagine a golden bridge stretching out before you. One side is where you stand today. The other side, the version of you living in purpose, peace, and alignment. 2. Now ask yourself, what 3 things am I ready to change? Maybe it's a belief, a habit, a relationship, a routine. Be honest, be bold, write them down. And then each day take one small builder step, your 4 energy, and one leap of expression, your 3 energy. This simple rhythm can reshape your entire path. Here's the truth: most people avoid. You don't need to have everything figured out before you begin. You just need to begin building. 43 reminds us the bridge is built in motion. Your story is not stuck. Your next chapter is waiting. But you've got to pick up the pen and write it. You've got to put down the fear and take the step. What would happen if you trusted that part of you that knows you're meant for more? What would change if you gave your future self a chance, starting now? If you feel this number lighting something up inside, you comment below. I'm building the bridge to my next chapter. Let 43 be your symbol, not just of change, but of courageous movement. Because you're not just dreaming anymore, you're crossing over. And the life waiting on the other side, it's built with every step you take today. Part 7, Generosity, the spiritual shortcut to abundance. Let's break a myth right now. Giving doesn't leave you with less. In truth, it often unlocks more than you ever imagined. Generosity is not a transaction, it's transformation. And across every culture, every spiritual path, and every truly fulfilled life I've studied, There's always one consistent thread. The people who give the most often receive in the most unexpected ways. Here are 6 powerful ways generosity becomes a shortcut to abundance, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, and energetically. 1. Generosity signals abundance. When you give, you're telling life, I have enough to share. There's a story of a barista who always greeted every customer with kindness, even when she was struggling financially. One day, a regular customer she uplifted every morning offered her a full scholarship to culinary school. She wasn't seeking a reward, she was being a light, and that light reflected back. 2. It rewires scarcity. A broke college student had only a few dollars left, but still chose to donate his old textbooks to younger classmates. That small act of service shifted his mindset from, I'm lacking, to I can still give. Scarcity didn't leave because his bank account changed. It left because his identity changed. 3. It dissolves the ego. A CEO quietly paid rent for 5 struggling families in his hometown without a name, without recognition. He said, I wanted to give without applause, just peace. True giving isn't loud, it's clear, and it humbles you in the best way. 4. It plants karmic seeds. There was a man who gave blood every 2 months for over a decade. He never thought twice about it until a rare blood transfusion saved his own life after a major accident. What we put out always finds a way back. 5. It builds deep trust. A volunteer teacher in rural Vietnam gave her time and heart freely. Years later, the children she once taught, now adults, built her a home in gratitude. Not because she asked, but because they remembered. Generosity lasts longer than memory. It becomes legacy. 6. It aligns with purpose. A retired nurse began mentoring young health students online for free. She felt alive again, useful, connected. Today, that small act of giving has grown into a thriving online wellness community. She didn't retire, she realigned. So ask yourself, what do I have that I can give today? Time, presence, encouragement. Even a small offering can ripple into a life-changing return. If this resonates, comment below. I give with trust. I receive with grace. Let generosity be your practice. It's not about what you lose. It's about who you become. And who you become is abundance itself. Part 8. Integration practices. Daily and weekly alignment. Wisdom without action is just information. But when you apply what you've learned consistently, intentionally, that's when transformation begins. These numbers weren't shared with you just to inspire. They're here to guide your rhythm, shape your choices, and anchor your energy. Let's bring that energy into practice with simple, sustainable steps you can carry into real life. Daily journal prompt. Every evening before you sleep, take 3 quiet minutes and ask yourself, where did I give freely today? It could be something big, a favor, your time, your money, or something gentle, a kind word, a listening ear, a moment of silence for someone who needed it. This isn't about praise. It's about presence. The act of noticing generosity rewires your awareness. And what you notice, you nurture. Over time, this reflection builds a powerful habit. You stop waiting to feel abundant and start living as if you already are. Weekly action. Embody a number. Each week, choose one number from this journey. Let it be your teacher for the next 7 days. If you choose 22, focus on building something with intention. If you choose 19, practice letting go of what no longer serves. If 38 speaks to you, align your goals with action. Write the number somewhere visible. Reflect on it each morning. Let your entire week become a gentle immersion in its wisdom. This is how energy becomes reality, not through one big leap, but through consistent conscious steps. Mantra of alignment. To center yourself daily, whisper this mantra. I walk with wisdom. I attract what I align with. Say it aloud. Say it in stillness. Say it when you feel doubt creeping in. Let it remind you that your energy is not random. It's responsive. And when you walk with awareness, the path meets you halfway. Integration is where real abundance begins. Not in theory, but in daily motion. Not in wishing, but in walking your truth. Let the numbers be your compass. Let your actions be your anchor. You've already started. Now, keep going. So here we are. 6 sacred numbers, 6 powerful teachings, 1 deeper truth. You are not waiting for abundance. You are awakening into it. This journey wasn't just about numerology or Buddhist philosophy. It was about remembering that you already hold the wisdom, the courage, and the clarity to transform your life from the inside out. Whether you're building something new, with 22 letting go, with 19 pausing, with 7 aligning with 38, awakening with 66, or crossing into change with 43, each number was never the destination. It was the mirror reflecting back your next move. And if there's one thing you take from this, let it be this. You don't need luck, you need alignment. And alignment begins when you walk with intention. If this message stirred something in you, don't let it end here. Carry it into your week, into your breath, into your choices, and let's stay connected. Like this video, subscribe for more weekly guidance, and comment below. I walk with wisdom. I rise with clarity. Let the world know your path is unfolding and you're walking it with heart. Until next time, stay grounded, stay generous, and keep building the life that only you were born to create.